Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. Swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystems. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live on the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be very bullish, guys, because I am back on the bull. I am there, guys. I am at the point where I'm like, I know the last 2 weeks I was like, falling off because of the Trump tariffs and then not, but like that all seems to be behind us. Markets are forward looking. The tariffs seem to be something in the past, and that was the thing. That was the catalyst holding us down. That was the catalyst that was dragging Bitcoin down, and we are back, guys. We should see 90,000 next week. We should see 150,000 in the summer. I'm back in the bull. There's nothing I can say. I'm bullish. I'm still predicting 700K next year, and by the end of the cycle. And I truly believe that we are in a position right now to enrich our families, to enrich our grandchildren's grandchildren, because right now the prices are so low and the people are not here. Retail is not here. No one is paying attention. You have an opportunity right now to get into projects that you truly believe in, maybe even some DeFi stuff, right? That you can earn insane yield on, because everyone knows the best DeFi opportunities are before the bull starts, before the electricity begins, right? So there's a lot of opportunities out there, and I want you guys to, to be a part of that, right? You guys deserve it. If you guys were here during the last, 3-4 months, or even since last April, right? The last year, for Bitcoin has been good, but for, ordinals, runes, and everything else in crypto, whether that's, Ethereum and so on, it hasn't been a good time. But I think I think that's about to change. I think that we're about to enter a time period where good times are ahead, guys, and I'm really happy to share that with you guys. I'm really happy to be a part of that. We're in a position to change our lives. So let's get into it right now. Let's bring up my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling? How you feeling the market? Are you less bullish than me? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty bullish. I've been tried to be level-headed, right? It's easy to kind of fall into despair a bit because of the way the year started, but we're definitely building up some momentum. Those catalysts are starting to align with the M2 money supply. We looked at that chart yesterday. That made me feel really good. Looking at that and looking how close it just followed, like there's no you can't really deny that. That one you can't deny, right? And so, yes, it might deviate a little bit here, a little bit there, but typically it really stays on track there. So we're kind of in this like kind of bumpy right now with eventual spring up into the rest of spring, summer, probably another sideways, and then that blow off the top in Q4. So that's what the M2 money supply is telling us, at least.
Yeah, I just don't think we're going to blow off top in Q4. I just think there's too much bullishness to kind of go into mid next year. I think this is going to be a right translated cycle. You know, that's something that Bob Lucas has said from the beginning. We're either going to be in a left translated cycle or a right translated cycle. And I think that people, you know, if you get out too early, I mean, yeah, make your money. If you make money, take profit. But I just feel like next year, we might go into next spring. Maybe next May. I just think that there's too many catalysts. I mean, U.S. could be buying Bitcoin. You know, the taxes could get cut on a lot of different things because tariffs are taking over. Right? There's a lot of catalysts for not just the crypto markets, but you know, with everything else. And you have to remember too the ETFs. Like we're going to get a Solana ETF this year. We're going to get XRP ETF this year, so on and so on. And then what that's going to do, it's going to like it's going to be for the next coin. Like what's the next coin that's going to get an ETF? And that's just going to be enough momentum, in my opinion, to really kind of push us in the maybe mid next year, maybe late next year.
Yeah, I mean it could definitely happen that way, right? I think I'm still in the boat to where I think Q4 will be that blast off, but you know, we could go into this kind of new phase of the crypto markets. Plus, the overall financial markets seem to be having a bit of a reset, right? And so, you know, more stabilization, which is what we need, because the first part of this year definitely was the opposite of that. It's like, you know, volatile as much as possible, it seemed like. And going into this new kind of reset, it gets stabilized, and that might be like a consistent theme until, you know, maybe we're done with the cycle. So we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get into the news stories of today. President Trump says stock market is very strong after getting used to tariffs. And then China came out and they say United States is extremely shameless. Tariff war will backfire soon. But then you have European Union expects U.S. tariffs to remain in place as negotiations stall. So what do you feel about these? I feel like this is the last days that we're actually going to be talking about tariffs and they're actually going to
I hope, right? I mean, like at the end of the day, you know, we have some people in the chat that are appreciating the macro perspective that we've been giving, so it's working out in that aspect. But you know, we definitely want to get back to talking about the fun stuff, right? And with this, you saw China selling bonds off, right? And there's a lot of pundits and economic experts saying that that's a big mistake, you know, because you know, a lot of our debt is in their hands, right, with the bonds and stuff. But like, it's gonna backfire for them, make the yuan weaker, and all these things. But at the end of the day, you know, I think what it does is it can reset the negotiation, kind of where, you know, the EU's realizing, okay, look, you know, maybe the cards are a little bit more in the US's favor than we thought initially, and let's just get to a deal, and hopefully that happens, and then that's whenever the market can see that consistency, and it would be perfect timing with a you know, blow up to the M2 money supply. I don't know about QE if that starts to happen, because they're already talking about who maybe they might replace Powell with, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, and like, you know, all these countries, they've already seen insane inflation in 2022, right? Every country was dealing with it, and it finally getting back down. No one wants tariffs because that's potentially higher inflation, right? They all just want the inflation narrative to go away, and this tariff thing is getting in way with that. But they're all negotiating. They're just it's going to work out, in my opinion. It's going to be behind us very, very soon. Hopefully, this is the last couple weeks of tariff talk. But to your point you just made, U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says search for Jerome Powell's successor begins this fall. I don't know. Like, so I'm a fan of Jerome Powell. I understand. Like, he hasn't been great for the crypto markets. He was in 2021. He was amazing. He let it go as long as he possibly could, right? And then before he started tightening it down, but then inflation did shoot up to 9% in December of 2022, and then, you know, immediately came back down. So, well, took not immediately, but over the course of last year, came back down. So we're sitting around 2.8 right now. I think he did a great job. But Trump wants a Trump guy in there, and you know, Trump gets to pick who's the successor. So
yeah, it's gonna be interesting if they pick somebody to replace him in the fall, and tell me that's not like a perfect setup for blow off the top Q4.
well, he
Right?
won't be replaced until 2026. So it
Okay.
kind of goes into
Okay.
my
Well,
So the fall
so
is when they can start negotiating with the next guy or interviewing the next guy.
wow, really? And it gives them like a 2-year cushion. That's kind
Well,
of
they need to know who the successor is. So in 2026, which is only like 6 months later, I think.
January is when it
Well,
will.
I think Well, I think it's like March, but yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, I don't. I also think you don't want to piss off the guy that's in there right now, too, right? So, like, I don't know.
I mean, what's he gonna do? Raise rates? Like,
Not do what they want, like even more. No, but
yeah,
yeah. So I don't know. This whole situation with finding his replacement is going to be interesting. I don't know. I don't want to look too far into it right now because I think
yeah.
the after effects will be later down the road, right? So
Yeah, and like I'm somebody who's I'm pro drone pie. I think that when he thinks it's ready, I think it'll be ready. You know what I mean? Like I just think he's done such a great job. At least the last year or so. I hated him for a long time, but looking back, I mean, inflation's back down to 2.8, right? I mean, from 9. So we'll see. Bessent also fires off on China. He said tariffs far from a joke. Decoupling possible. Treasury dump not in sight. He's not seeing the treasury dump because guys like Warren Buffett are
picking it
actually
up.
coming in and buying it up. I mean, and then it's only a matter of time before the Fed comes in and starts buying them up, right? Obviously, if Bessent had his way, he would have Jerome Powell coming in right now and buying them up as China's dumping them. But but we'll see. But you're seeing these really, really big investors like Warren Buffett and a lot of really, really large entities like BlackRock coming in and scooping these up cheap before the Fed. They're front running the Fed.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy is with all this because you have to imagine that China's not stupid either. They're not going to just sell bonds down. It's horrible for them. I think initially it looks that way, but maybe they're stuck in a between a rock and a hard place too because their currency is losing strength. So they got to
Yeah.
do something. But at the end of the day, I think we get kind of past this. And I think that eventually we continue our manufacturing relationship with China, with a new deal and although because right now it is going tit for tat, but that is going to, get pressed against the wall too. Right now, the biggest thing is Boeing, right? Like
Yeah.
Boeing planes, they're denying the Boeing planes right now. So they're going to start looking to Airbus, which is from Europe, and a domestic manufacturer in China. But now, how do they maintenance their parts? Because those are all Boeing parts. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. There's going to be like a point where there's like, you know what, like it's too much. So
Yeah, 100%. Just like the supply crisis of 2021, right? It all eventually fixed itself. We'll see that again. But last thing before getting some crypto stuff, gold. It's a record 3,245. So Peter Schiff is having a week here. You see
a year.
3 up. I mean, a year technically. Yeah, you're right. So I mean, this thing has just been a rocket ship. But the last week. I mean, since Friday, or Sunday, it's just been up only here. You see a new all-time high today. It is kind of dropping back down, or all-time high yesterday, and then kind of falling back here today. But what do you think, man? Does gold keep going, or does gold come down and touch its line here?
Man, I think maybe it pulls back some once people get a little bit more risk on.
Yeah.
Because when you have more liquidity and circulation and stuff, then I think that's when people look a little bit more risky, stuff. And
Yeah.
to them, Bitcoin's a bit under that right now, but it's higher than it's ever been, right? In terms of like trusting in an asset. But it's not quite gold yet. You got to remember, gold is the OG. And so I do think there's going to be a slowdown for sure. And then that's when they get a little bit more risk on. But I don't know if it's going to kind of have that red. What caused that red candle though?
When?
Remember? Oh, that's when everything kind of went down. No, I'm talking
Yeah,
about
that was
big
the Trump
pullback.
tariffs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But look, it came right down and touched its line, right?
Yeah.
The same line it's been kind of protecting here. So it came down, touched it, and back up. So I'm kind of thinking we see a $3,500 gold before we see a pullback. But what that's going to do, I think that's going to really kind of push Bitcoin and assets that are similar to gold, right, up as well. I think gold is kind of the same as the M2 money supply. It's kind of leading Bitcoin a little bit here. So I'm curious to see what happens next. I'm going to be following this and really hoping that the big guy Bitcoin ends up doing something very similar really soon. So
yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a fair assessment.
yeah, man. All right, let's jump into crypto stuff here. Binance and KuCoin go down due to AWS data center outage. Binance suspends withdrawals to keep user funds safe. So you're still able to do everything on the platform, but like it was down for a little bit. KuCoin didn't suspend anything; they just kept things going. But AWS, man, it's a dangerous game. That's why ordinals are so important, right? They're on chain. But what do you think about this? Binance and KuCoin going down because AWS.
I saw that, and the first thing I did think about was ordinals and how the IPFS argument and all those things, right? You remember that it was the summer of 2023, kind of fall of 2023, where you'd have like the Ethereum and Solana guys that were dabbling in ordinals, being like, well, IPFS has its use case. And everybody's like, no, AWS cloud, server. If you don't pay your bill. This actually makes me wonder, like, could there be a situation to where, like, could you build, like, host your centralized exchange on Bitcoin? That would take a lot of work and a lot of, I think, like, probably updates and upgrades or something with Bitcoin. But eventually, maybe it gets there. Who knows?
I mean, you can keep the data on there, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what they're doing with AWS, but like Bitcoin is a cloud service itself, right? Especially with the Ordinals protocol, you can inscribe anything into Bitcoin and it's there forever, right? Like there's no taking it down once it's inscribed. I mean, you can as a website, you can choose not to show that, but I mean, it'll be there forever. Any Ord indexer will show it. So I don't know how they would do that, put that on chain, but I'm sure there's going to be decentralized AWSs and so on and so on. So that'd be really cool to see.
Yeah, eventually. But like with Bitcoin, it doesn't really go down. The problem would be like I think data, personal data availability will all be on chain and all that stuff. Plus, you there would always be like a Web 2 side of it, I think, because of data. Maybe in the future, we never know that.
Yeah, man, 100%. So, crypto quant, apparent demand is recovering, but don't call it a trend reversal yet. So, crypto quant's coming at my bullishness a little bit here. They have a chart here, which is Bitcoin apparent demand. The demand is actually dropped drastically, but it is on an uptrend here. And their next chart here is very similar. It's kind of showing the demand actually coming back now. We did hit a peak low and then we're headed back up, but you can see the price trying to drop during this period, right? And now it's kind of building back up as the demand's kind of going back up as well.
Yeah, that looks pretty good, right? Like it definitely seems like, is it past that like 50% mark of that dip?
Zero.
Yeah. If it's past that, yeah. Okay, yeah. So then we're good, in my opinion. We're gonna start something at least, right? Because this was a pretty good size pull down in terms of demand. Yeah. If you look at the last demand pull down, it was right before Q4 of 2024, maybe, when it pulled back up, and then you could see I'm sorry, of 2023, and then it pulled up in then January 2024 and stuff. So we could be seeing something similar to that.
This would be nice. This would be great to see, because that means we're going to head up higher and the price is going to continue with that. So we will see. We will see. All right, next thing here is a tweet from our guy Bob Lucas, someone who we've been following for over a year now. He has this really good post. I'm going to read a little bit of it. He says, Bitcoin isn't moving like it used to with the NASDAQ. It's clearly showing some relative strength. Volatility has been pretty tame too, especially considering the panic we've seen in equities. That said, the correlation still matters. It suggests we could be heading toward a setup where stocks find a bottom and Bitcoin front runs or greatly outperforms, but only once the risk off weight is lifted. The real question is when and possibly how deep any sell-off in stocks is. So he's not ruling out a sell-off still on stocks and stuff like that, but he is saying that Bitcoin will front run the NASDAQ and kind of show that it's not correlated anymore in the very early steps of this next upward trend. So he's definitely predicting an upward trend movement here, but he just doesn't know if a sell-off comes first.
Yeah, and I agree with what he's saying. You know, Bitcoin has shown strength while, and yes, it's pulled back some, but it's not pulled back as aggressive as like the stock market. And then also, you know, people are. I've seen multiple people on the timeline make statements about like, you know, these memes and stuff that go on these runs, and not even just memes, just let's just say crypto in general, that might go on this short kind of burst of runs. They won't have that extended kind of stamina until we are in like a QE environment, which seems like what Bob Lucas is saying here, right? And the risk on kind of turns on. So I think that's why a lot of people are wanting the Fed to kind of get us there. But to your point, you know, there has to be some trust there. They did bring inflation back down into the 2% range. They never got to 2%, which was their all-time goal, but they broke into it. So
they've rarely hit that though in the last 30 years. You know what I mean? It's very rare. His last thing here is looking further out. I'm not locked into the idea that Bitcoin has to top this year, just because of the usual 4-year cycle timing. Tops in a cycle are a moving target. The lows are more predictable. We should stay open-minded about it. This is kind of the camp that I'm in as well. I don't think we're going to top out this year. I think we're going to top out early next year, potentially going into that sell in May and go away type of area.
Could be. I like I'm sticking to my Q4 aggressive push up, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, only time will tell. I mean, there's no really. I mean, it is what it is, right? So we'll definitely find out whether we get an extended cycle, which I think we do. I think we could even go into next summer, potentially. Who knows? But my guy PlanB, he says, bring up the chart here. He says 7 months to go in the 6 month before 18 month after the halving. So he's kind of going into your kind of area as well. He's saying there's 7 months, 7 red dots to go. He's pretty, you know, we have all these red dots so far. They've been up, but haven't really up. And you know, the red dots are around halving, right? 6 months to 18 months. So that's kind of where it started. 6 months after halving, going into 18 months. So we got about 7 more to go. We are following this nice little trend line, but usually Bitcoin doesn't follow it. Bitcoin usually goes above it or below it. So, but he's definitely still predicting we hit that 700K number in the next 7 months. So
Q4 blast off. Tell me that's not a blast off.
Q4 can't pop 400K. It's not possible.
I'm just saying. And you know, I will say, you know, PlanB, I think he's also been a little bit confused, saying, you know, not confused, but like trying to figure out like what's going on, because, you know, it didn't follow exactly what he thought, but he's sticking to his plan and saying, hey, look, you know, I do think we're going to reach this point by what that seems to be November, right? Midway through November, 7 months from now. We'll see if he's right or wrong, because I mean, to your point, he hasn't really been super accurate, but he hasn't been completely like wrong to where Bitcoin is at like 40,000 or something, you know. It's still kind of close to that line. So
I mean, it's very similar to what happened in here.
Yeah.
Right. Like before we popped off. I mean, it's very similar to, you know, people probably saying the same thing. Right.
The difference was that crunch up was condensed. So it was like a shorter period of what we've been kind of dealing with, where it's like spread out. But I think everybody's been impatient. Let's be honest. Like me, you, everybody, like PlanB, everybody's probably like, what's going on? You know? So he definitely could hit that. And we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely think, you know, we're in the 300s in November and potentially 700 by next May.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it would be really hard to get there. I agree with that. I mean, that's just such a big jump.
Yeah, I mean, to get the 700 in November. I mean, don't get us wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love it for the show, for the bullishness, it would be insane, right? But at the same time, I just don't see it being realistic. I think that like Jake Gallen and his New Year prediction was just like a bunch of upper sideways. And when that continues, we could see 300K in November and then potentially 700 next year. So we'll see. This sucks. I don't like this at all. So Tether announced plans to deploy its existing and future Bitcoin hash rate to oceans Bitcoin mining pool to strengthen the network's decentralization. So Ocean Mining is one of the smaller miners. Tether is actually planning to deploy Hashrate into their system here. Ocean Mining was one of the miners who was neglecting inscriptions. They've
Ordinals.
stopped. Yeah, well, inscriptions, period, right? BRC20s and so on and so on. But any type of inscription, they were not putting it in their block. And now the Tether, someone who's really hasn't came into the Bitcoin ecosystem is kind of teaming up with them here. They have stopped though. They're letting inscriptions go now in their blocks. They haven't said anything, but there's been some sleuths on the timeline saying, Ocean Protocol is letting inscriptions go now. So, but yeah, this is Jack Dorsey's company as well. We do know the cat eater. What's his name?
Luke Dash Jr.
Luke Dash Jr. is in charge of this one, as Jack is the money. So
yeah, that's like a country music singer's name, Luke Dash Jr. But
for NASCAR,
yeah. But yeah, this was a little surprising, but you did get confirmation that they're allowing inscriptions to go through, though. Okay,
yep, every block.
Okay,
yep.
Maybe Jack has said, "Hey, look, let's not.
We need that extra money. Stop."
maybe some of that, but like it's interesting because there hasn't been like a public statement about like some sort of partnership here or anything, and someone was stating that like this is a decentralized thing that they can do here, to add the hash rate to Ocean. So interesting that they picked Ocean Mining though.
Yeah, well, they probably picked a miner that's smaller, right? So that way it's not the
they
big
have more
six,
chance.
big 7.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they can actually because the Tether was running their own pool and they're just kind of dumping because you don't need permission to join a pool. Anyone can join any pool, right? So you can deploy your hash rate in any pool that you want. So they're instead of like giving their hash rate to one of the bigger miners, they're going to give it to Ocean, which probably means that like they want another dog in there. They want another because like Ocean wins one out of I think every like 17 or 18 blocks, while the bigger ones win one out of every 5, right? So but we'll see. But it is random, so Ocean can win back to back and then not win for a week, right? So WHAL deposited 6 million USDC into Hyperliquid and opened up a 5x leverage long on ETH at 1624. Good move or bad move? This is the actual slip right here. He's long. So we will see. He's up his P&L. He's up 48,000 on the $6 million trade as of now. What do you think, man? Do you think this was a good move or a bad move?
I don't know, but their team is probably like on high alert, making sure there's no other shenanigans happening with this. I think it's a good move, right? But man, Hyperliquid gets such like a magnifying glass on them whenever someone takes like a large position, because these type of positions are happening all day on centralized exchanges. Yeah. You know what I mean? And but like when it happens on Hyperliquid, dude, it's a headline, right? And so it's really interesting to see, and I think that's intentional. I think it's intentional to people to bring this to everybody's attention. But I think this is probably a smart move from what seems like the direction the market's going in. But when you did show the M2 money supply, it showed that we were in this kind of little pocket of consolidation. It looked like. Do you remember from yesterday?
Yeah,
and
I can show it.
Yeah, and then like, so it was like a consolidation pocket. It was a different chart than this, but it was
this was the M2 money supply though.
Yeah. So the consolidation happens, and then I think there was like one small dip, and then it explodes. May 1st is what it said. So
you mean the Bitcoin? Okay, I got
it. Yeah. The Bitcoin tailing the M2 supply, right? So, maybe he's trying to catch it before it does dip. And like we said, it doesn't happen exactly to the T. Maybe it skips that dip. Who knows? But it does have consolidation a little bit before the thrust up, which is projected around May 1st, is what it seemed like. So,
yeah, for sure. So we'll see if it continues that way. And this guy, he's betting on it, but only 5x leverage. I think that's very fair for him, right? So
yeah, but I mean, he could close out up like 300,000 and should be, I'd be happy at that.
Yeah, man. All right, so this one is for the Trump token. Trump will unlock 336 million in tokens this week. The next 6 tokens unlocks combined total is slightly over 200 million. So this is the biggest one ever. And then next, what do you think Trump does with this? Does Trump sell his own token, or does he just maybe add it into liquidity? Like, what do you think he's going to do with $336 million in Trump?
So how does the unlock work here?
So so they scheduled it ahead of time. These tokens were obviously
Pre-sales?
No, so this is all Trump's tokens. So when Trump created the token, they obviously created the whole batch, right? And they did lockups before they added liquidity. So they put the lockups in, and this unlock right here is 336 million, and so on and so on. So he has a fully diluted market cap of 8.4 billion. So he's getting his cut, as you would say now. And this unlocks April 18th, which is 3 days from right now.
I don't think it gets sold down. I don't think he would do that. I mean, it's not his team or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But it would cause a big disruption, right?
Yeah.
In the space, to where everybody would be like, this is scammy, blah blah blah. You know, we just don't. I don't want to go through that again.
I think what he should do is sell down half and add the whole thing to liquidity. Like sell down half for SOL and then add the whole thing into liquidity. I think that would, that would be one of the most liquid tokens available, right? And then would just spawn off and off. Yeah, the price would drop, but at the same time, once you add that much liquidity, the price is going to skyrocket.
Yeah, or he moves it to World Liberty Fi portfolio.
They could do that as well. Yeah, I mean,
I would do that.
20x the portfolio. I think the portfolio is like 80 million or something.
I would
like
do that to show the space that, like, you know, he believes in this token or whatever, and just leave it there. And it would give, I think it would give some trust back to the holders of the token itself.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Eric Balchunas reports Canada to launch world's first spot SOL ETF in April 2020, April 16th. So that is tomorrow. We will officially have a SOL ETF in Canada. Canada front ran the United States on the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. They've had the Bitcoin ETF since 2021 and the Ethereum ETF not far after. I'm not exactly sure when, but this is going to be the third crypto ETF, and it's going to be Solana. How do you feel about Solana getting its first Canadian ETF? And what does that say to the United States? Does that say, let's bring it here?
Nothing burger. Canada's like, they weren't really moving the needle when they had the Bitcoin ETF or the Ethereum ETF.
Well, it did allow some prominent individuals, meaning like retirement funds, stuff like that, to actually invest in Bitcoin before it shot up. You know what I mean? So
I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference until the US adds it. Then that will make more of a difference. And it's not just to say, you know, Canada doesn't have any influence. It's just the truth. I mean, you saw something similar with the Hong Kong you know, Ethereum ETF, and it just didn't really move. So I think that the US is still the strongest financial market by a lot.
I think this does something for SOL. I think the bottom is in for SOL. I don't see SOL ever getting under $100 again after this, because like I just don't think, like, it's easy for US investors to buy this. Like, it's not hard. Like, you can buy it on most exchanges, right? You can buy any, like, I think E-Trade will allow you to buy this. So in the sense, you're buying it on the Canadian Stock Exchange, but at the same time, I mean, you're going to see some prominent companies front running the US. Maybe they don't want to hold the Solana themselves, but they want it, and they'll just buy this until it's time to transfer that to the US ETF. But yeah, I do think this is going to strengthen SOL for sure.
Maybe some retail users, but like majority of the people that are going with size in the ETFs are going through their brokerage, right? And I think that, like, you know, whether that's you know, BlackRock, whether that's, you know, Fidelity,
Vanguard, but that's what I'm saying. BlackRock can go purchase this.
Yeah,
you know what
but
I mean?
like but they probably want to you know, offer their product to their client base, right?
Yeah,
so
but
I don't know.
Clients like, yo, I want the SOL ETF, you're gonna get it for them. I'm just saying, like, and this is now, like, retirement funds got into Bitcoin, retirement funds got into Ethereum before the US retirement funds did.
Yeah,
I'm just saying there's
me
personally, it's gonna make a boom, but I think it's gonna strengthen the price of it.
I mean, it's not gonna hurt it, that's for sure. I mean, what, SOL's sitting at $130,
Yeah.
It's positive news for it, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it will be whenever it is here as an official U.S. product.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I think tomorrow I think you're gonna see a price jump, probably back into the 140s. But we'll see. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon has sold 31 million worth of his bank shares, according to a regulatory filing. So, what do you think he's doing here? Do you think he's gearing up for retirement, or do you think he's bearish on the market?
Oh, man, this is a hard one, right? Like, I'm not sure. It's tough, right? Because like I don't think he's bearish on the bank. Eh, maybe he has some anxiety a little bit of like this
Yeah.
kind of financial reset. But when I look at every corner of where I live, there's two new Chase banks popping up, and so
Yeah.
like they're from a retail banking perspective, they're still the number one bank here. And yeah, the anxiety might be coming from bringing digital assets on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This could just be a personal, like you said,
Retirement thing.
yeah, getting ready for it, making a purchase for something. That kind of
Could he
stuff.
be getting ready to buy Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. That was the first thing that came into my head. But
That's how crazy would it be? Jamie Dimon comes out, buys $31 million even if he bought Coinbase stock. That would be crazy. All right, the next thing's pretty awesome. It's kind of giving me 2021 feels where investors are coming in heavy into some DeFi protocols. So this is actually an opportunity for you guys as watchers and listeners of the show. So Treehouse Finance, a decentralized finance platform, has achieved a $400 million token valuation following its latest funding round. So these guys, they have an ETH token. They have basically a staked ETH token, and they haven't put out a Treehouse token yet. So potentially, you guys have an opportunity, if you guys are interested, to coming over here and potentially staking your Arbitrum Ethereum into one of these pools here and getting T Ethereum. That's a Treehouse Ethereum. Obviously, you probably need a VPN on, but it's no problem because you guys all have Nord, right? So Arbitrum, so you can get TEs. But I'm thinking potentially, yeah, the APRs are low, but I'm thinking potentially you might get an airdrop of the Treehouse token. What do you think? But it is awesome to see investors coming in here and getting deeper and deeper into Ethereum DeFi.
yeah, this is something that's definitely needed. They do, partake in the entire ecosystem, it seems like, or at least multiple parts, right? With
Yeah.
different layers and stuff like that. So this is a good sign. And maybe Jamie Dimon's loading up some Ethereum because I think he's a lot more bullish on Ethereum than he is the pet rock, is what he calls Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So seeing news like this is definitely, like you said, a bullish indicator. Let's hope to see some more of this stuff because Ethereum is known as the DeFi mecca as of right now. Solana is definitely pulling in volume, but in terms of DeFi protocols, it's still not close. In terms of existing and TVL.
100%. The milestone reflects growing investor confidence in Treehouse mission to transform the on-chain fixed income market. So, so the investors are coming in. They're seeing stuff like Treehouse. I actually love the fact that it's T Ethereum, and you can basically just get APY on your Ethereum and stuff like that. And you can do a lot of really cool stuff. They even have a claim thing. So definitely, guys, go over and check out what they're doing over on Treehouse.finance. And it pays to pay attention. And when you see investors getting in, you should start using the platform, especially when they don't have a token. But who knows, right? So, all right. Let's kind of get into that Bitcoin fear and greed here. I'm going back to using the Binance one. The other one had just too many ads on it. It was really annoying. So I'm back to using the Binance one. So last week was a 24. Yesterday was a 31. There was still fear. Today we are closer to the 40s is my hint for you. But yesterday was a 31.
37. Or
Pretty close.
Oh, right.
I'll give it to you. 38. We're still in fear. Do you see us now sitting? We hit 86,000 this morning. Do you see us getting into the yellow? Do you see us getting into the 40s here?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do. I feel like there's been a positive, sentiment We do have 2 weeks before, you know, that kind of estimation of whenever we do start to really catch up to the M2 supply. And
Yeah.
so maybe this week's more bullish. Next week might be a little bit choppy with downside, and then we jump in. We can't predict the future, but like right now we're a little bit on a sell down currently, like as we speak. But that's because we kind of rose up before the show started, and so I see us kind of, you know, being choppy today, and then finishing the day off maybe on that upside bullish part. So I could see us getting closer to that orange, getting out of the fear. Would we still be in fear in orange?
I think it's neutral.
Neutral. Okay. Yeah, I can
but
see
we'll
that, but I won't be surprised if we kind of hang
Yeah.
out here too. So
I don't want to hang out here. I'm tired of being
for a day,
here, bro. No, I want to be at 40 tomorrow, 65 on Monday, 79 next Friday. That's where I want to be. But I don't ever always get my way. But we'll see. We'll see. But it is time to get in that Bitcoin price action to find out exactly what is Bitcoin doing. And this is all brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're going to be on Hemi. Hemi is going to be a Bitcoin layer 2. They are going to be absolutely big because they are backed by Binance. And when something is backed by Binance and does not have a token, you need to use the dApps on that blockchain. What dApps can you use? Well, you can use Artura.finance. Go long, go short, and play with some leverage. Highly recommend you do that when Artura goes on mainnet. But right now, you guys can go and play on Botonics, the Spider Chain testnet, and who knows if they do an airdrop, right? But you guys can go to Artura and play on the testnet. And if you guys do potentially Tau, XRP, and ETH, you can actually get put into a raffle that actually gets you potentially can win some Artura tokens. So it's win-win-win. But take advantage of Artura's testnet because it is paper trading. You can go over there, you can claim Bitcoin, you can claim $10,000 USDT, and then what you can do is you can actually pretend you're using real money and really learn. Use that opportunity to learn. Use that opportunity to strengthen your skills before you go and play on Hemi and Artura and actually be really, really good by that point because you spent the time training yourself, spent the time on learning, and spent your time on watching our show, especially during the next segment at 12 o'clock today when we have Artura on. We're going to kind of get into some risk management ideas and stuff like that. So definitely go check out Artura.finance.
yeah, and I think actually, it's you know, using the test net is really good for people that have that discipline of learning, let's say like a new video game or something like that, and then getting your strategy down, and then feeling like, okay, I have my strategy down. Now I can kind of take that next step. So that's a great way to utilize it. But yeah, exciting stuff from Artura. But before getting to the Bitcoin price action, guys, help us out here on the YouTube side. Smash that like for us. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, guys, we need some help with the sharing of the space. Help us out here so we can educate on board as many people the crypto and Bitcoin ecosystem as possible. Same thing with the abstract side, guys. If you could share the stream, we would greatly appreciate it. But let's get into some Bitcoin price action here. Brought to you guys by the great team from Artura Finance. All right, let's jump into the hour chart, which is where I always start off with. And we have actually broken down below 85,000. We were, you know, hanging in there pretty tight. But it looks like we are breaking below. We're sitting here at 84,875. We were hanging around 85,000 for a while, right? And after the bell rang and stuff, we're about an hour and 15 minutes past the bell. But yeah, so it looks like we just crossed over the oversold territory not long ago. I mean, a bit of, yeah, not too long ago, sitting here at an 8.8 over here. You can see this is actually kind of showing some strength on the sell down here on the MACD as well. So the leading blue indicator line is pointing kind of towards almost straight down a little bit more, and it will be vertically straight down. But you can see probably wants some sell down here. Wouldn't be shocked if we get to 84, maybe even a little bit lower than that. The strength continues here. You can see the support and resistance looks about even at this price point at 84.70 or 84,780. So it looks about even here. Support a little bit stronger on the upper part of this price trend at 85 to 46. So I wouldn't, you know, probably not expecting too much of a strong sell down here, as you know, it doesn't look overwhelmingly strong, much stronger like on the resistance side of things. So again, probably chop with a little bit of downtrend, wouldn't be shocked we get to 84,000, but also wouldn't be shocked if we hang around here in the high 84,000s and get back above 85. So, you know, just kind of I would say in the next 30, 45 minutes, we'd see kind of how this MACD indicator is going to play out. If we lose some strength here, then I think we kind of hang out more in the upper 84,000s, get back to 85. But if it does continue with a follow-up stronger candle in the MACD, then look forward to more of that 84, low 84,000s, maybe high 83, but nothing to worry about. Again, unless some crazy sporadic news comes out of left field like it has this entire year. So, but we are seeing more stability with Bitcoin. So that is definitely a good thing. It's been able to handle the news headlines a lot more. And on the 4-hour chart, this is kind of backing up what we're seeing on the smaller time frame of the hour. We're seeing the strong red candle here, so maybe some news just popped out. It is showing it wants to go further down. So if we do have that aggressive sell down, get to that low 84,000s on the hour chart, maybe expect for this to have that continuation flow over to the 4-hour, and then we might have the next couple of days kind of have that downtrend play out. Who knows? Maybe we do kind of knock on the door of 82,000 by Thursday. But the rest of today is obviously going to play a huge part in this chart. So let's kind of see what happens here the next couple of hours with the hour chart. See if we can kind of reverse this, because it did look like it was going to lose the sell pressure momentum here on the 4-hour. You could see this kind of did a U-turn here too. The blue MACD leading indicator line did a U-turn. It wanted to go back up, but it U-turned here. So it's really going to let us know where we're probably going to head the next couple days for the next 4 to 6 hours. It's going to let us know probably how tomorrow and Thursday will look. So that is what I'm seeing here for Bitcoin on the 1-hour and the 4-hour. Now let's get into the weekly, which is something I have been really paying a lot of attention to. And it looks like we are still up here out of the danger zone. We are above the 50-day EMA, which is a great sign. You can see, the MACD is starting to curl up a little bit here, which is great. Because once we kind of, let me get out of that. Once we kind of get up out of here and get in kind of like that middle zone and start to head, once we head above here, the overbought territory, I think we're going to be in a really good place, because we'll probably hang out here for a while. But maybe some choppy weeks here, dipping a little bit below the 50-day EMA top part of the channel. It's right here where we don't want to finish below. We don't want a weekly candle finishing below the channel completely. And so, building some momentum of maybe a little bit of chop, but then get to that May 1st. So 2 more weeks, and then maybe start something similar to this, like an upward trajectory, which would be great. Because then we can start to get back above 100K, which we haven't been in a very long time. So I like what we're seeing on the weekly. Just keep paying attention to the weekly candles. Make sure we're not finishing below the channel completely, because that would not be good. But we are looking pretty safe so far. And then heading to the others chart, which is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10. So all the alts besides Bitcoin and the top 10 major blue chips. This is interesting, because it seems like it kind of pulled back a bit. I think we had a little bit of green to start the week, but now we have a little bit of red, right? So Bitcoin does what we think it might do for the rest of this week. Let's say that finishes the week strong, then this will kind of follow it, right? But well, like I mentioned yesterday, the others is something that I think once alts get the green light, it's gonna kind of have like a strong, quick catch up period, and we'll see alts kind of go off a bit, and that will be exciting times there. So that's what I'm seeing also kind of for the weekly chart. On the others, I'm more focused on Bitcoin, because this will obviously tell it eventually. And the last thing here is the crypto bubbles, guys. The weekly looks pretty decent for the others, though. I'll say that. And the top 10 are included here too. So, but everything you can see, this is like 90% green. You see Pepe, some of the memes are pumping back, up 17%. You got Cardano up 6%. Hex, oh my God. is up
Your
31.5.
heart's back, baby.
Is he?
No, I don't know.
You got Doge up 4%, Bonk up 27%, right? And then you got some of the utilities, Hype up 38%. That's a strong rebound right here.
Wow.
Fartcoin pulling back, guys. It's not up its like usual 100% that we've been seeing. So yeah,
HNT is definitely something to keep an eye on, in my opinion. I think what Helium is doing is really awesome, and when people start looking into real world assets, Helium is definitely something that I'm very bullish on, and it's on Solana as well. So you're going to see a lot of movement coming out of Solana utility tokens, in my opinion.
awesome. Yeah, no, I agree. Solana utility definitely needs to kind of start to show up again because it's starting to just be known as this playground for gambling. So, HNT, what was this? There was
Honey.
one. Yeah, okay. And then Steps, there was that Steps one. I don't know if that I don't know if that one's still going on, but
yeah, that was Ponzi.
Gotcha, okay.
There.
Well, you can lose weight. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, dude, I earned a few SOL. I earned actually a lot more than a few. So I was from just walking around. So that was cool. But yeah, man, let's kind of get into today's roll call here. Every single day, we like to just, talk to our people here. So, guys, if you're just listening, if you haven't really participated, hop in roll call. I would love to call your name. I'd love to shout you out. I really appreciate every single one of our listeners. But we do something on the show called First is First, where we're actually taking the first comment of the day and putting it in a chart and kind of showing who has the most wins. And Danny Boy, the league leader, the winner so far, if it ended today, which is not, it's ending in December 31st, but Danny is number one. Shout out to Danny. He has a 16th win of the year. Shout out to Danny, man, hitting homers every single day. So Danny's last win was on the 11th, and he won today. Wedro and Danny, the two league leaders, back to back here. Really curious to see who takes it tomorrow, but Wedro is 2 behind Danny. And Lucky Lukey is around 5 behind Wedro. So it is a 3-man race here, but it doesn't mean you guys can't win. So you're probably asking, what do I win? You actually win a Bitcoin frog. Right now it's around $800. Who knows what that frog is going to be worth December 31st. One thing I've always said to Yagobi is I want to give away a frog. And we're doing it on December 31st. We're actually giving away a frog to one of you guys, and it's going to be fun to see. I can't wait, but there will be a second and a third prize. We haven't we have a couple ideas. We haven't chose the second or third asset yet, so definitely would like you guys to participate and potentially get first, second, third. You still have 200 days left, so I highly recommend you guys getting in there. But let's hop into today's roll call here. We got Danny Boy, number one, obviously, and then he says, sorry, guys, had to do it. Lucky Lukey says, no, but shout out to Lucky Lukey in that 2 spot. Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. Danny Boy locked it in with a super chat. My guy, appreciate you. Don't know if that still works, but it has been working. So
for him, it has for sure.
Thank you so much, my friend. Matt says, Danny, you got enough wins. Danny voice says, Mats, I know I want to ease up, but others, but then Lucky Lukey just gonna get it. So that's true, man. Get that frog, Danny, if you can. Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo, loves me and I love you. What does Billy catch out to Mr. Hanky? Webdro is here. He's just keeping that lead, Danny. Merlin's lucky here all week. Thank you so much for being here. He said, whales always win, and they don't stay whales, or they don't stay whales. That is true. I mean, either go down or you continue.
That's a great comment.
100%. We got Rare Sats Dom is in here. It's Rare Sats, bro. Will they ever come back? What do you think?
Yeah, I do think so. I think there's going to be the collectors down the line when time has passed.
Moon Yacht Club is here. Shout out to Moon Yacht Club. Appreciate you, my friend. I equals X. This is well plus people equals money. 100%. Malam Yuri says another one. Let's go. Thank you, Malam. Thank you so much for being here every single day. Timer Tuber is here. Shout out to you, my friend. No way you guys are fast. Yeah, dude, they don't play any games. They don't play any games, man. Danny Boy and Nighthawk team up. Say GM. Hell yes, we did it. Number one, Nighthawk says, you're the best, Danny Boy. Danny Boy replies, yeah, thanks.
He's trying to get some of that frog, some of that percentage of that frog in the end.
Tokenize it, guys. Tokenize it. Give it out. No, I'm just kidding. Breck Road says, why the name change of the show? Is it because the last one died? So the name change was so we can actually grow. It's all about growth and stuff like that. So we love ordinals. So we're still covering them every single day. Nothing has changed with the show, except now it just gives us broader range to cover more things we're interested in. Doesn't lock us in that box. But that is the reason for the name change. Do we have anything else?
No, you hit it right on the head.
All right. Level Up Tech says, I used to watch you guys for the Bitcoin and ordinal info. Now I get macro deep dive as well. Thanks, guys. You're killing it. We do our best, man. We just try to make sure you guys are caught up on the day. And honestly, if it wasn't for the macro stuff, we wouldn't be able to have enough news to cover the whole hour and a half. You might see a 30-minute show, and that's just not us. Mempool Punk is here. Shout out to Mempool Punk. Ordinals Chips is here. He says, whales want to eat plankton. Let them eat plankton. Nighthawk Cray says Danny Cheaty is here in his blue suit. Our guy, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you so much for always pulling up. Patty Poo with a sup. Shout out to you, my friend. Danny Boy says thanks to y'all. Chief Axel is here, and then Justin goes gobbling up some runes. That pump the other day was just the appetizer. Spring is coiled, tight, and ready. Also, not confirmed, but seeing more and more Binance runes rumors. Yes, we're actually going to talk about that a little later, probably after Artura. So tune in for that, probably in about 20 minutes. But yeah, we're going to dig right into that 100%. We got some really good stuff. Yeah, dude, get your runes now, honestly, if you can. Steamy J says GM. Shout out to Steamy J, GM, my boys. Danny says Hyperliquid is it. Y'all might want to play. No gas fees. 100% Hyperliquid. I mean, they're the big dog. They're the big dog for sure. Patty Poo says Canada market is a joke. Yeah. Speaking as a Canadian, yeah, but you did see some push up though when they added Ethereum. So I'm just kind of looking back at that. You guys only had Bitcoin for a while, and you added Ethereum, and Ethereum definitely. I mean, now it's down, but at the time, you definitely saw some retirement funds and stuff coming to Ethereum for the very first time. S says GM from Bells. We have some Bells news in there as well. Tune in for that a little later. Ordinal Sweet says, get great, guys. Let's go. Use condoms. Wasn't expecting that.
Comment.
Interesting. Very interesting. Pelpa says, yo. And then Patty Vu says, prediction. We go to 92K and then go back down to 72K by end of May, then sideways summer, then we fly. Definitely always a possibility. I won't be ruling that out for sure. And Danny says Bitcoin weirdos on Ordinals Genesis mint now. What is he talking about? Did you hear this one?
No. No, I haven't. There's like a lot of new name mints, and they're kind of happening on different platforms. So when I didn't know if this was one that that he was mentioning. There's one that was Tom was involved with. You remember Tom? The OMB Tom? Oh, never mind. That one had to do with something with Arch Network. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, so I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, me either. And he also says Ordinals Misfits. Oh, Magic Eden. Isn't this the one from
OG Dad?
OG Dad. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to as well. Yeah, I'm really not minting anything, Danny. I'm just kind of staying on the sidelines right now. I'm just kind of waiting for the runes to kind of pick up. And then what normally happens is the runes will move first. And then a lot of that, money actually will go into a lot of the Ordinals projects. It's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm going to front run the pump on the runes and then front run the pump on the Ordinals. But who knows? You might have a really good opportunity here and getting in. But he says from FTW. FTW, have you heard of them?
For the win? Oh no, from FTW. Must be a project or something. Oh, yeah. So I see what he's for the weirdos.
Okay.
I took it back to like early mid 2000s with that one for the win. OMG.
It could also mean F the world, right? That's another one. FTW. Patty Poo says Magic Eden airdrop this Thursday 10 p.m. Why so late? Why 10 p.m.?
I don't know. Maybe they're in Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's the Asia time zone. But that could that bring liquidity in, or I don't know. The last time
I don't know how big the airdrop is. Right.
Yeah,
so
we'll see.
We'll see. He said, "Did you get your FunkyBit rewards?" No, I actually. It's saying that I didn't participate, but I know I participated. But yeah. But that is roll call. Appreciate every single one of you guys every single day putting comments in the chat. A lot of new people in here, man. Again, I just want to shout out Merlin Lucky, Rare Sats Dom, Moon Yacht Club, I equals X, Timer Tuber. You guys, Breck Road. Thank you guys. You guys are all new. Don't really come in too often. Really appreciate you guys taking the time out and coming in today. And just remember, we do a show every single weekday from Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Appreciate you guys. But we're gonna get into our next segment here. So every Thursday, we like to have one of our partners on, and for a lot of reasons. And today is actually a really good reason because we're actually going to learn and educate you guys on some really cool stuff. So I had a lot of questions going into leverage trading, right? And a lot of them happen after I get into the trade, and we're going to cover a lot of that stuff. So
don't do that, guys. Learn from Shizzy's mistakes.
Yeah, I'm not a leverage trader, guys, but I do appreciate the power of leverage and what it can do for a trader who's convicted, right? I'm a convicted bull. I can't be a bear. It's just not in my blood. But people that can really make out really well. You can make money when it's bullish and when it's bearish, right? You can long, you can short, and that's kind of why leverage is really important. And it's a tool. It's a tool in a toolbox, yeah, right? Like maybe some people don't use some of the tools, but then there's other people who, like a pipe wrench. How many people use a pipe wrench? But the people who use it do a really good job. Right? So, but yeah, man, let's kind of get into it. Let's bring up Marine. Let's bring up Instant. What's up, guys? Welcome back to OnChain Revolution.
GM. Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you guys doing?
It's crazy.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like every time we're back in here, there's something crazy new going on.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I mean, sometimes like when we're trying to fetch for news and stuff, it's like it feels like a dry desert, and all of a sudden, like there's out of nowhere like 4 oases there, like here's news, and that's kind of like what happened with yesterday. Obviously like the ruin stuff happened. Some platforms got compromised, but that's unfortunate. But it seems like they're kind of moving on from that. But then now, with Bitcoin seeming kind of bullish, where are your guys' minds at as like a leverage platform builder? Let's start with you, Instant, with the current market condition.
I mean, it's pretty crazy so far. I mean, it feels like, every day is like just, red and green lights flashing at me. So it's just,
pretty much.
Yeah, but as like a platform though, it's really cool. Like obviously, volatility, it to some degree is like, good for our platform. But I think overall for traders too, it gives them like options, depending on what they want to do and what bets they want to put in. So yeah, regardless of where we're at, I'm kind of excited just for the future in general.
Makes a lot of sense. What about you, Murion? You see this volatility, like Instant said, green light, red light, green light, red light. If you guys once you guys go live, it's good for business, but like how do you feel as like a trader yourself and everything about the current market condition as of today?
Yeah, the same like Instant said, but like we already know, all of us, before you enter a trade, you need to know the risk and set the TP and stop loss. So you need to be detached and let the probabilities play out. It can be in your favor or against you, but it's all probabilities.
100%.
Yeah, man. I agree. What? So today we hit 86, and right now I'm looking at my clock and it says 84. Yeah. Why did we have such a volatility today?
I see that we swept like a swing high from like 2 days ago, but we still do not have any like fair value gaps in this current range, and we need to get a displacement to show us the like the move of the market.
Yeah, I agree. And this was a weird one, right? Because like when he was doing the price action, I was like, why did we dip? And I tried finding news, and I couldn't find anything. There was nothing.
Yeah.
I think there was some news like Binance and KuCoin had some withdrawal issues or something with Amazon server. I didn't catch up too good with it, but I saw there was some.
Yeah, I agree. I think that could have had some of the negative price action, but your clock is behind because we're back over 85,000 already. So this is kind of to the point of green light, red light, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, that's what we're all saying. We got a couple comments in the chat that says J Powell speaks tomorrow, so people are positioning.
Yeah,
that's a great point. We tend to see like either what the market sentiment is for tomorrow. If it's more likely dovish, then we'll see some sell off and play into pump maybe pre or like right after, kind of opposite. That's a tricky game to play though, don't you think, Murion?
Yeah, because people now, like the people said in the comments, right? Pavel is speaking tomorrow, so they may play risk-off scenario for tomorrow to see the market relief or the news that will come out, and then we'll see like some displacements that will be good for us.
Yeah, man, 100%. All right, so you guys are a trading platform, right? And who's better to ask these questions to than a trading platform like you guys? So, Murray, like what? So my question for you is, what to do when volatility suddenly hits, right? So let's just say tomorrow I'm in a trade. I totally forget Jerome Powell is talking, and I go for a short, right? I short Bitcoin. I don't put a stop loss on it because I'm an idiot, right? Obviously that's probably it's an easy one. Maybe put a stop loss, make sure.
Yeah,
what would you do?
Like, it's a general thing. You need to have a stop loss and take profit and entry criteria. That's a must. Like you can go.
Do you right away put a
it's
stop loss
gambling.
as soon as you put the trade out? Do you immediately put a stop loss in?
Yeah, before you put on the trade, you need to have like to print out a template for you or to-do list to follow it. Like you need to have entry criteria, stop loss criteria, and take profit or target criteria. Without those three things, you're just gambling. You need to have exit. You need to have where like invalidation points where your stop loss will be, an entry. Yeah, on the levels, some confirmations where you see.
So what would you do then? Let's just say like you have a stop loss in, right? It's maybe a little lower than you're kind of you don't want to hit it. What kind of thoughts come in your head in that situation when Jerome Powell is talking? Are you sitting there and you're just hoping that maybe he says something that goes the other way, or like what's your thought process in the middle of a trade while there's volatility?
I predefine risk before each trade. So I need to detach also from the outcome of the trade and detach from the money and let the process like work in my favor and don't focus on the money. So I'm just sit there, watch the news, how it plays out, let the probabilities play out and be patient and be like calm, because it's not you versus the market, it's just you versus you. Like you have your Dimon. Okay, should I remove the stop loss to be still in the position if Jerome Powell's like weeks down and
Yeah, I mean that's really pretty much the main reason for traders' downfalls. Would you agree? Is that like the discipline isn't there? I'll admit firsthand, there's many times I don't put like a stop loss in, which I should, but it's like being a poker cash game player and that's all you do. You have to minimize risk and maximize your gains, but within a strategy that's consistent. And if you don't do that and you break that, that's when everything falls apart.
Yeah, you need to be consistent. You don't go for like one hit. So even with 1 to 2 RR, the compounding interest will give you the results. And time is your friend, so it's a big gains when you look at long term, because trading is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, no, I agree. What about some examples of when to hold or cut a trade early? Maybe you put your stop loss, down a little too far. Are you ever just like, I'm getting out of this now? And potentially, is that something that you do?
To be honest, no. I always like put stop loss on the body or the wick of the order flow leg where I enter. So my stop loss is invalidation point. If it hits, then I'm okay with that, because it's my invalidation point, invalidation level. It's not gonna be going in my favor, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game of like percentages and basically like, if you're trying to shoot for like hitting 100% or more gainers on every single trade, you're going to end up losing. And so it's about, you know, really just being consistent with it, staying true to your conviction of your strategy. And if you actually do have to make a strategy change, that's a big deal. And you have to take time to do that. And then you start another strategy with back testing, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you need to have minimum 100 trades in your data sheet or whatever to see if it's working or not. Because if you're constantly changing strategies, your strategy hopping, we love to call it like SOS, like is like some, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, you just need to be consistent with one strategy and let the time and compounding gains work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Instant something real quick. So as kind of being a contributor on the platform side and getting messaging out, do you guys plan to have kind of like some cool like educational maybe like tips and stuff like that, videos and stuff for the community, maybe like a library they can kind of look for just for education stuff, or is that maybe not something in the plans?
Well, yeah, I will say that, you know, currently we actually are trying to work on more educational content for traders. I don't know how much of that's going to actually be applicable on the website. I mean, one thing that we do is we are trying to give as much information to traders as possible regarding like liquidation prices, where their stop losses, take profits are, things like that. So it's all easily accessible and readable. And, you know, I think that's like a mark of a good platform in terms of you know, what traders want when selecting, you know, their trading preferences or utilizing their strategies. Aside from that, though, we do plan on, you know, just releasing content both in like our docs, which should be easily be navigable from the website, that kind of goes more in depth into stop loss. So lots of educational content directly there. Not that anybody reads the docs, anyways, but also like on our Twitter as well, we are trying to put out more educational content, specifically this month as we kind of prepare for mainnet.
Yeah, man. And how important is education to you guys? Because obviously, you know, if people come and they're not educated and make bad moves, your platform makes money, right? But how important is to really, you know, give the user as much education as possible?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think it's actually a little bit tougher of a question than you would expect, because, you know, obviously I think like, you know, a mark of a good platform or a good perp dex isn't just like a user coming in one time, like throwing all their money out the wall and then, you know, like, you know, making one trade, losing, and then never coming back to the platform ever again. So, you know, it's actually like, you know, a lot better to have consistent users that, you know, enjoy using the platform, are, you know, like winning and utilizing on their trades as much as they can as well. So yeah, I mean, like obviously we want all our users to be totally totally up to date and up to speed on a, you know, I guess like trading education, so that they keep coming back to the platform. They're happy, and if they're happy, we're happy.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like that's exactly what the answer I was hoping for. Because like somebody comes there one time, they throw their money out. Otherwise, they're not coming back, right? You go to the casino, as soon as you walk in the casino, you put $1,000 on black, right? You're leaving. You're not coming back if you lose. But if you educate yourself, take small bets, and you guys educate the people to come in, tell them to take small bets, small leverage, learn, use our test net. That'll really keep people coming back. They'll feel loyal to the platform.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree with that. And then that's how you kind of build a community too. Someone in the community kind of that has experience kind of can start like their own community within the community, and, you know, give some tips and stuff like that. And, you know, kind of, you know, speaking of tips, you know, we don't have to get into it like really deeply, Murion, but like, could you maybe give an example of maybe a way to like easily like set up a like stop loss, right? Like what's a tip that you can give for that, like percentage wise or whatever?
Yeah, so it depends if you're scalping or swing trading, but that will be like in the percentage wise, which I don't look. I just look based on the technical analysis. Because it's going to be on the different time frames, and the percent wise will be different.
Well, so, let's say this, because I feel like swing trades can be a little bit less risky. So let's take a swing trade example.
Yeah, the swing trading is maybe even better because it's like less combinations on the chart, it's cleaner and all that. But yeah, I just put it on the less line of the defense that should be on my trade. Like I know my premium and discount arrays, which is like a levels.
Yeah.
So I just like if I have an order for leg, which has a swing high and swing low and fair value gap in between, I'm entering on the FVG and putting the stop loss on the week, on the swing low, right?
The weekly swing, low.
If I'm looking for example, if I'm looking for the trades from the weekly time frame, I use time frame alignment and go into the 4 hour to determine that order flow leg, that impulse shift that will give me from that level, hard time frame level from the weekly chart time frame, right? And then I put that stop loss below the fair value gap. That's that week below the fair value gap. And there is a bit more advanced strategy where you put it on the body of that swing low, but it's for the more experienced guys.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, for the audience listening in, that's exactly what I mean by like a strategy that you have conviction in, right? Because you know, many of you guys are probably like, what is Murion talking about? Well, this is something that he's developed over time. And you know, as you get more educated on trading, you'll have your own customized strategy that you have found be successful for you. And so what he just mentioned is he has this threshold for his stop loss that he doesn't have the emotions connected to it. Once it hits that threshold, he lost that trade and he's okay with it because he believes in his strategy that he'll get a win on the next one or maybe the next one, and eventually his averages play out.
It's all a numbers game. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, let's kind of dig right into that then. So, like, recognizing emotional triggers versus actual market signs. So, like, how do you separate the two? Of, you know, when you're sitting there and you're like, oh wow, like I truly believe it's going up right now, but maybe the charts aren't telling you that. How do you like manage that?
I would say just detachment from the money and from the outcome. That's like the basic and the more general thing that you should do. It will help you with the FOMO, with the over-risking, and
that is how you become a good strategy player in any kind of strategic game, right? Like whether it's poker, whether it's sports betting. You know, when people do sports betting, the ones that are able to consistently win, which there's not a high percentage of ones that can consistently win, but they're able to detach their emotions from their bets, and they do them in strategic calculated units. Like they stay to their betting units, right? Like my unit is my unit that I use is $200. That doesn't change for one unit for me. But if I feel more confident in my strategy for this game, I might go 2.5 units, which would be $500, right? Because it's $200 a unit, and I stay with that. And if I can cut the emotions and I have a good strategy over time, I'm a winner.
Yeah, you need to treat trading like a business. You're gonna have expenses, and that expense is your stop loss, right? You can take it as a tuition expense or like learning expression, and you just need to like detach, find a creative way if you can detach in the general way, and just follow that process. You need to be process oriented.
So it's all about mental strength and emotional detachment. So if you are an emotional person, probably don't want to just jump head first into trading.
Exactly.
Maybe take a yoga class or something that can get your mental strength back to where you can detach emotions from money. That's I'm just saying, like meditation.
Yeah. You need to master yourself, your mind. Yeah. Like meditation also can help. You can do like in the present moment. Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things to detach is emotions from money. Right.
I can't stop picturing you doing yoga now.
Hey man, some of the top UFC fighters, the champion UFC fighters do yoga every day. That was good. But anyway.
All right, let's bring it back to Artura. Instant, man. Tell us something and what's going on over there. How's everything, and what's your feeling going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think like, you know, it's funny every time we come in here, we have like, you know, we bounce back between like bull and bear and what's going on. And I think Shizzy last time was pulling for the bull to come through, and I don't know, He's been up on that at least.
I
This
said
week.
10 weeks. I still got 6.
I don't want to jinx it though. So like I was like, speaking of emotional markets, but yeah, it's hard not to. It's also, you know, I think given the nature of the industry, it's also hard for I think a lot of people to be non-emotional, especially because like, you know, it's just like, you know, pictures of frogs and monkeys on like, you know, the timeline all day and people going off of vibe trades and things like that. But yeah, I think like, you know, we're really excited to be launching pretty soon. You know, I think there's like some gray days out there, but you know, the sun's coming out. We're coming to summer. You know, there's a lot of events going on, a lot of great conferences, and then a lot of people I think about to launch some great platforms, including ours.
Yeah,
amazing. How's the testnet trading going? Are you guys seeing some pickup in volume over there? You seeing some people getting some big wins? What's it look like in the back end?
Yeah, right now actually, we're fully locked in on launching the mainnet. So testnet is down for maintenance. You know, we're not dealing with we're not doing any like community events, unfortunately, on testnet right now, just because our bandwidth is just fully locked in on making sure that we have a smooth mainnet launch. So we plan on launching this month. And we're going to have some big events, potentially some more trading competitions as well upon launch, but I can't say too much yet.
Love it, man. Yeah, 100%. Let's stop the team from messing with faucets, right?
Exactly.
And kind of keep pushing
Yeah.
with the next layer, which is layer 2 on top of Bitcoin, right? Really excited.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, it's been an amazing segment as always every Tuesday. We appreciate you guys spending time, you know, communicating to the community and the Bitcoin ecosystem community as well. Excited for mainnet launch. We know we're going to be trading live once that happens, and I think Murion, maybe we get some episodes recorded with some of the stuff we talked about today. You know, some tips and stuff with you, and we can schedule that. But we appreciate both of you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
See ya, guys. Bye.
All right, take it easy.
See you guys. Amazing as always, man. I love that segment. I love talking to Murion and getting his opinion on different things. He's really like intelligent. And that was kind of why I wanted to do some of these talking points today. Was we have a guy here, he's really educated on trading. We might as well get as much out of him as we can, right? So I think that's why this segment was awesome today.
Yeah. Do you think you could ever get to a point to where you are a master trader?
No, I just don't got the patience, right? Like I'm an investor. I'm an investor. Like, you know what I mean? For me, it's like I want to buy something and hold it for 2 years. That's just kind of what I want. You know what I mean? Or, you know, I'm pretty good at knowing when to get out of things, right? When something skyrockets up, I'm usually just like, I'm getting out of this. So I mean, I'm good at that aspect of it, but like I'm only good in bull markets and bear markets on the absolute worst. So it's like for me, it's just like long-term trading and getting into stuff like BitTensor Tau and holding for 4 years. I think that's how I'm going to make my money.
Gotcha. All right, we got a couple comments in the chat here. We got DJ Clitty Litter. Haven't seen him in a while. He says yoga equals GAY. And then we got Mice Elf that says, to understand the psychological aspect of trading, I'd suggest the book Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. So definitely check out that book. You know, I'm going to check it out and see what that's all about. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's anything that has that high risk kind of environment, like sports betting, trading, casino, right? Yeah, I forgot what that guy's name is, but he's like emo style, but he like wrecks casinos in Vegas, like on blackjack. I forgot his name, but like takes them for millions of dollars. That guy has like emotional detachment for sure. But anyways, good show today. Good
a lot.
Oh yeah, we got more. We got a lot more. That's right.
So 99 Bitcoins came out with a tweet. They basically said Binance enables. Let me actually show the tweet here because I have it up. Binance enables Bitcoin runes deposit and withdrawals. Binance has completed integration of the runes protocol, now supporting deposits and withdrawals of runes assets on the Bitcoin network. So this came to a surprise of everyone in Bitcoin because 99 Bitcoins. These guys are not a small player. These guys are a big player. They actually have an insane amount of subscribers, 725,000. I mean, they got 700,000 more than we do. So that's saying something. These guys aren't somebody who is going to just come out and say things like this. There's information behind this. There's information. You obviously see Vincent here says source. No source is fake news. You have people coming out, but I don't think people understand who this is. These are big guys. These are big players in the space. So I don't know. What do you think about this? What was your first reaction to seeing this?
My first reaction was kind of like who's 99 Bitcoins. And when I started seeing the comments of, you know, source, fake news, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, okay, these guys probably aren't that big. But then I brought it up to you and you were like, no, these guys are legitimate. So the way you described them, it made me think that, hey, they don't want to throw their reputation on the line to just be crapped on just because of a fake headline. And so it got me really bullish, right? So if Binance is starting to build or they already built the infrastructure out, right? I think Runes has you know, some interesting next couple of months. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I mean, these guys were one of the first YouTube videos I watched on Bitcoin. It was actually this one right here. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin's explained simply. I was a noob. I remember it was August of 2020, and I was really trying to dig into figuring out what Bitcoin is, and I came across these guys. It's a really amazing video. They really break it down really, really well and kind of get into it and stuff like that. So, I mean, these guys are legit. I mean, you know, you're saying 7.3 million views. Like, this isn't some guys who are going to, like you said, throw their entire reputation out the window for a Runes comment of all things, right? So I think it's happening. I think they got someone on the inside, and maybe they weren't shouldn't have came out and said that because maybe the timing with Binance wasn't ready yet.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very interesting, right? Like, why would they slip this? And if they did, where did they gain from that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, for how many subs they have on YouTube, they don't have. It doesn't kind of equate to like the followers on X. Are they trying to just get like, you know, a lot of engagement on this tweet? Like, what? I don't think it would be a fake one. You know, so
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. Maybe we can reach out to them and see if we can get more information. But I feel like by the time we get more information, maybe like Binance comes out with it. Now, that aside, if it is legitimate, what's your view on this?
Dogs going to the moon. Dogs going to be over $1 billion. I mean, that's my first, my first thing, right? Is get as much dog as you possibly can. Right now, I'm looking for funds all over the place and where I can potentially get more dog, because if this is true, I think dog gets to 500 million pretty easily. And then maybe a few days before listing, because usually Binance gives you about a week and says, hey, this is the day it's going to go live. Potentially you could see it, right? So dog's going to get listed there. It's just only a matter of time. And if these guys are reporting it, you might see a couple different runes actually pop up on that radar. So
yeah, it'll definitely move the entire runes ecosystem, I think, a bit. But for all the naysayers and stuff against runes, like, is that show them, hey, like, okay, you were probably wrong that runes is not going to make it if dog goes to Binance. And real quick, Binance has kind of had some bad like listing, like I don't know, like success as of late. But I feel like dog is like one of those safe ones because the way the community is built out. It's almost kind of like it's like an army of like really strong, I don't know, like you can't just like deplete them because people dump on Binance, basically. What do you think about that?
Yeah, 100%. I think that Francis Dune, Block, Domo Ducks, they're gonna hate themselves in a couple months because they're not taking the opportunity to get runes, right? They're stuck on that BRC 20 days, and hey, BRC 20s could come back with 2.0, right? But I think runes gets to light first. I think runes gets that green light to really move, and you're gonna see multiple billion-dollar runes coming up, and then a couple of them having $100 million market caps. Like, I'm really bullish on this ecosystem, but I'm really bullish on the utility tokens that are coming out of runes, like the fluids, the liquidiums, the emblem vaults, and so on and so on. I think this push up and this add-on by Binance could really have people really looking for utility runes. And I think something like liquidium could be an incredible buy right here as well.
Yeah. And so let's say Binance puts them on, right? First of all, I think it's well deserved because they've been grinding for that damn thing forever. Now we know every other centralized exchange is going to come on board except for probably Coinbase, which will wait, and then eventually I think Coinbase will list them if they get on Binance, because it's kind of like this acceptance of the Runes protocol, right? It's like, okay, like we accept it now, we built the infrastructure out for it. Coinbase has been investing silently into stuff like Sats Terminal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much they injected there, but they invest. Coinbase Ventures invested in them. We know Sats Terminal's main fungible is Runes Standard. And there was another one that they invested in, kind of more heavier. I forgot who it was. It was like a week ago. We talked about them. They invested like 13 million or something. Coinbase Ventures. Why can't I think of it? You know, no, it was one. It was another one. It was another one. But anyhow, yeah. So you know, this could be kind of like that genie in the bottle that I was talking about. You know, they're waiting for like the market conditions and they're like Bitcoin tokens kind of thing. You know, we'll see though.
Yeah, 100%. The next thing here is kind of scary. So this is a tweet from or.io. They say, warning, 3 of the custodial Runes dexes have been compromised over the past 48 hours. The situation is still unfolding, and teams are working to uncover the source of the exploits. Stay vigilant. So Rich Swap, I never heard of them until yesterday, but they suffered a 120K loss. Odin, God of Runes, suffered an 80K loss. And then RuneStacks had a 50K loss. So what do you think about this? And my next question is Luke Dash Jr. Company?
I don't think so, but like, I don't know. But it definitely is weird. Like within a 48-hour time span, 3 platforms that service runes get attacked, right? 2 of them are custodial because they use I think probably all 3. Yeah, I mean, RuneStacks is centralized for sure. Custodial is a little different because like you're depositing in, right? So like your Wrist Swap, I did briefly hear about them, but I never looked into it. Yeah, briefly though. So they use ICP's tech stack as well. I think they saw success with Odin and said, hey, let's whip something up. And then you have Odin. So both of those are deposit custodial approaches. Like, I do think that if they're going to stay that way, they're going to have to really ramp up their security. But Odin has responded very well, in my opinion, in terms of communication. Bob had a space that he seemed like very just like, you know, down, but seems like it picked himself up and said, hey, let's get this resolved. And he did. He said everybody will be compensated that had any type of losses here. Trading will reopen on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. And then the wrist swap thing, I haven't heard anything. And then Runes decks did come out and they were very good with their communication as well. So I think we move on from this. You know, we're lucky though that there isn't like a lot of liquidity and stuff yet, because it could have been a lot worse, right? Like let's say like 6 months down the line, this could have been 10x what the loss was, which would, you know, would have been 3 million. Still kind of for 3 different platforms, a small amount comparative to EVM exploits and stuff like that. But you know, it seems like he's starting to win the trust back again, but you can't have it continually happen though. So they really just need to tighten things up.
Yeah, 100%. This is a good thing. This is a learning curve for these guys. These guys are new. Let this happen now, right? Because you didn't see anything dump. You didn't see dog dump. You didn't see billionaire cat dump because of any of this. But in the future, if this does happen, let's just say RuneStacks gets, you know, to a couple $1 million in TVL, and you see Odin Fun having, you know, maybe tens of millions of dollars in TVL, you know, and stuff like that, and that actually might be a problem, right? So it's actually good that, you know, this is what this has done right now, at least for Odin. Bob came out with a tweet, and they're going to strengthen. They're really going to strengthen their stuff. I mean, we're talking. They're going to add 2-factor authentication. They're going to add a lot of really big security stuff going forward. So in a way, I'm glad it happened now and not in 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and Bob did come out and say they found where the exploit happened, and it was a third-party smart contracts access. So they're going to obviously patch that up, right? I mean, that just sounds kind of like has holes. Third-party smart contracts.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
let's kind of get into it. So his tweet was, "Hi everyone, thanks for your patience as we work through this. You all have been incredibly supportive, and we really appreciate it. Odin Fun is nothing without the amazing devs, creators, and users on the platform. First, a quick TLDR. Third-party smart contract vulnerability led to unauthorized users' account access. Affected fewer than 10 users. All impacted users will be compensated. Trading rules will resume April 16th at 7 p.m. UTC, which is tomorrow. It looks like it's in about 12 hours from right now. Maybe a little bit more, not sure. But he said, what happened? We found a vulnerability in one of the third-party smart contracts we use caused by an address, pub key mismatch, or in the authentication process. This led to unauthorized user account access. So that was the problem. They got access to Bob's account. Bob had over, at one point, $1 million in assets, and they all got sold down, and that Bitcoin was withdrawn. That's why you've seen crashes. That's why you've seen panic, and that is why you've seen craziness and why they paused everything. So it should be back live tomorrow. We will see. But there is a lot of opportunities. I think me and you are both over there looking at a few of these things and being like, Right?
Yeah.
So curious if you can deposit right now, because that would be.
I think the deposits are on hold. I think
Okay.
I think maybe Cheedy or someone from our community member, one of our community members tried to deposit. I think it's on hold right now, but probably open up here and very soon.
Gotcha. All right, I got a couple more quick things here. So Miles Dusher says, looks like people are bridging back to Solana. So, and I want to say about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, we had a chart where it was like everyone was bridging out of Solana. They were going into Base, they were going into BNB, they were going into Sonic, Hyperliquid, so on and so on. But as you can see here, you're seeing kind of go back into, not to mention Ethereum, but Solana. And then on top of that, you're kind of seeing the Solana surpasses all other chains in 24-hour DEX volume for the 4th consecutive day. So again, Solana is looking like a DeFi powerhouse right now, especially with the DEXs. A lot of that's meme coin trading. But when you do put meme coins in liquidity pools, that's technically DeFi. So how do you feel about Solana? One, people bridging back there, and two, it really taking the DEX game to a whole new level again.
I imagine people are ready to start gambling again if they're bridging back there, but
Yeah.
I hope it isn't the same thing that we go over, because if it is, then we really need to go into a risk on environment to sustain any type of momentum, right? Because we saw that this was attempted in the beginning of the year and it just didn't sustain. In fact, it kind of sped up the collapse a bit, right? And so the M2 money supply is up. It's been going up, so it kind of does remind me a little bit of October, November, because that's when M2 money supply was going up as well. That time period, it was okay, because we were actually able to kind of go into these memes to AI to something, and then in January, the Trump coin kind of crushed it all. Right. And then Libra I would say was the last thing. So we definitely don't want something like that. It's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out.
For sure. Really interesting. Curious to see, where, I don't know. I think this is a little bullish. I think people going back into Solana
Risk
is
on.
a good thing. It's definitely showing that people want to play again, and people are coming back, which means, as a channel who covers crypto, it's nice to see people paying attention again, right? So, if that's one thing we get from that, that's kind of what I see. But jump to the next thing here. So we are 20 days away from a Bell halving. Could you explain this halving? Because it's not just your normal halving. This is the last one, right?
The last one. And what's their total supply here? Let's see.
I think it's 50 million. It can't be. Last time I checked, it was not that that big.
High.
It was kind of So I gotta find this website.
59.
59.
59,630,000. So this is a big deal, guys, because Bell's coin is similar with Dogecoin to the extent that emissions will happen forever, but it gets cut down substantially, and the supply is way tiny. Can't even compare supply to Dogecoin.
Yeah.
So what the biggest difference here, guys, is this is basically their last halving or epoch, whatever you want to call it, where the reward gets cut. Now on average, the supply of emissions will be 1 million tokens a year. A year. That's huge, in my opinion, because if we're sitting at 59.6 million, right? That's about 3 times what Bitcoin's total supply is. I'm not saying that it's going to shoot up like Bitcoin, so don't get that. But supply, you can relatively say, okay, it's 3 times the max supply of Bitcoin. Now you're adding 1 million on a year. So it would take you 10 years to get to 69 million, right? Meaning if we are in a extremely hyper bullish environment, let's say Bells has like some catalysts going for it, and you can, in our space, you can kind of manufacture those catalysts, right? Yeah. And so it could really jump up in price during a bull market, guys. That's all I'm saying. Now it can do nothing too if the demand's not there. The demand has to be there. And I think the miners, they're going to try to create a demand for this because they want the Bells coin that they mined to have value. It's a good opportunity, in my opinion, to make Bells coin valuable here. I don't know. Am I dreaming too much?
No, I think you're dead on. I think we definitely get a proof of work coins cycle. And proof of work coins like Doge, like Litecoin, like Bells coin, maybe even Lucky coin. I think they get a push up because we did see, a lot of these mining machines get bought, and they're actually mining this, right? So what normally happens is people buy into these coins, and we'll see them, especially with the Bells doing a 90% halving and having, I think it's 1.7% inflation going forward after this. I mean, it's really tiny. So we will definitely see a rise in Bells. And Bells, they got ordinals, they got runes, they could potentially have Opcat. There's a lot of catalysts for Bells to do really well, but who really knows until we get there, unless someone like Robinhood picks it up and they say, hey, this is the next Doge. I mean, it's by the creator of Doge, by the creator of Litecoin. Or not Litecoin. It's a fork of Litecoin, right? So there's a lot of really, really big catalysts that Bells could it could push. We'll see. All right. The next thing here is FunkyBit. So FunkyBit is another launchpad, and definitely want to be careful, guys. We did see an exploit on Odin, so I'm not saying it couldn't happen here, but definitely if you guys are interested in checking out. But Pepodins, which is a token right now that is check it out. It's $40,000 on Odin.
Whoa. Keep that under wraps. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying, but it's but potentially here it's going for 3 times that much, right? So whether you're going to see money kind of get sucked out of this and into that, or other way around, or it just jumps up, I don't know. But Pepodins is looking really good here. You're seeing about $30,000 in liquidity. We do know there's a lot of Snoop Toshis in this, and Mr. BRC, and there's a lot of bigger names around the community in this. So I don't know. They're building something special. They're building like this dashboard. Have they put up their FunkyBit dashboard yet?
That's a good question, dude. I actually didn't have time. I actually just stumbled upon this because I was looking at the FunkyBit thing this morning, and I messaged them and said, hey, you guys are over. Is this y'all? And I looked up the rune, and it was. But let me take a look.
I'm not. Oh, I am seeing Odin Fun and FunkyBits at the top. I don't see.
Wow. Okay, so that's good. That's good news.
Are you able to go between the two though? I'm not really seeing it.
Let me see.
My end.
Maybe not yet, man. But I'll tell you what, dude. That guy, Mr. BRC, is. I know he is a hard worker. He already got the FunkyBit added to this as well. I think this is good. Oh, dude, FunkyBit launching Odin. Yeah, it went through what it went through. They're cleaning that up. But having Pepodins over here too, that's huge in my opinion. Yeah. And this is like starting to be that ecosystem we've been talking about. And because this is connected to Base, right? Yeah. And Arch, which is the Bitcoin side. The other one's ICP and Bitcoin. What's the Rune Shots next? I am with the way Mr. BRC works. I imagine Pepodin's going to be over there too. And you have the OGs over here, and Bob's planning on adding the OGs. Rune Shot's going to start with the OGs, I'm sure. Yeah. Runes is happening, guys. Runes is happening. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. If you want to, you can't. I'm just saying. I think.
So what do you say to Francis doing right now?
I mean, Look, I'm not a person to kind of like, have people eat crow and rub
I am.
those pies in people's faces.
I am.
But like I would just say, it was I understand some of the perspectives, honestly, because let's be honest, it wasn't easy to be a rune holder
No.
this entire time. Like you literally have to have conviction and to the point to where you're like, I mean, I'm sure most of us probably had conviction, lost conviction, had conviction again, and then just like, okay, it's happening. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't easy to have be a runes holder, but like I think it's coming to fruition. But we shall see. We shall see.
100%.
Especially, I mean, look, think about all the catalysts. Let's just name them right now.
Yeah.
All those platforms we just named. If rune shot happens, so that's 4. Sorry, yeah, 4, and then Saturn's going to support it. 5. Whatever else someone's building right now that we don't know about. And then you have Slingshot. That's a big catalyst with a Magic Eden. And then the biggest catalyst, if it comes through, is the Binance thing.
Binance, Kraken, and who knows what
Well,
doors.
they're going to follow it, right? So
100%. And the last thing here, before we get out of here, is Wizard token is now done. Magic Internet Money is now the official token. So 3 billion, right? 3 billion. I think I have that tweet here. What did I do with it? It's right here. Yeah, here it is right here. I'll show it. So this is the tweet from the Bitcoin Wizard. The migration is officially over. 87.64 of the Wizard supply has been burned. Claimed 500 million MIM have been claimed. Unclaimed 2.4. The unclaimed Magic Internet Money supply was successfully sent to Satoshi. So that is gone. So it's showing 18 billion tokens, but there's showing 21 billion tokens, but in reality there's only 18.5. So congratulations to Magic Internet Money holders. You guys, your supply has been cut and sent to Satoshi's wallet. Satoshi is now the biggest holder of MIM, which will probably never ever be seen. But what if Satoshi wakes up and sells them? No, he won't. But this is great news. This is the Wizard token BRC20 is dead, while the rune is doing big things.
Yeah, I'm big on Magic Internet Money. The whole burn thing, they went through the same process that Pups did. They gave well in advance notice, so I don't think you're going to have too many people bitching about it. But I actually think that they're going to do well. I have a feeling they're probably going to end up like number 2 behind Dog. And then you have Pups and Billy kind of, I don't know, maybe there's there's 4 solid memes in my opinion for the runes, and then you get into the utility stuff.
Yeah.
But they're one of them.
Yep. All right, guys, we got 302 you guys over here on YouTube and X, not to mention everyone on Rumble, Abstract, Twitch, and Spotify later. We appreciate every single one of you guys, man. You guys are absolutely amazing. And remember, put the comments in here, like the episode. It really helps.
Yes, we appreciate your support, guys. Without y'all, we couldn't do this, and we'd love to do this every day. Try to educate you guys, bring news to you guys. Stay locked in. For everybody that stays locked in, I feel very confident good things will come to you all. But also, if you could check out our partners, we greatly appreciate it, as they are kind of the second half of what allows us to do this. And Emblem Vault is going to be the interoperability tooling to be able to allow you to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin to Merlin to Base, Abstract, Arbitrum, eventually Solana. And you can utilize their Agent AI Hustle to do that for you once that is ready. You can actually use Hustle to trade on Solana right now, but eventually Bitcoin transactions as well. And don't forget about their Rune TGE. That's going to be happening in September of this year, but you can participate kind of in a pre-sale environment on OpenSea as a NFT. Right now, it's an ERC 721 called Emblem Founder Vault Keys. And if you do purchase one of those in September, once the TGE happens, you'll get instructions on how to get the Bitcoin runes in your Bitcoin wallet. Super exciting stuff. And we're going to be actually joining Jake Gallen and Emblem tonight. I forgot the time, though. Do you remember the
7 p.m. my time, I believe.
Okay, so 7 p.m. Eastern for a Agent AI Hustle. AI Agent Hustle. Goodness, getting my words twisted, but kind of showing you guys a little session of how he works. So make sure you join that. But you can learn all about Emblem at emblem.vision. And BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin in there, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets in their Blitz markets, which is a 10-minute market. There's a clock, it's a countdown for Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana, and you actually can pick up or down what you think it's going to go, but there's a 10-minute countdown. I suggest getting close to that 1 minute so you don't have to get locked in way ahead of time. And then another 10 minutes to see if you won or lost. And yeah, super fun, but be responsible because it is kind of like trading leverage in terms of your betting up or down there. But they're going to have amazing features like Bet with Friends, which is private betting with groups, as well as create your own markets. And the percentage of earning on that is 1%. They did confirm that, guys. So all the volume you get on that in the future, you can earn 1% of that. But you can learn all about this at betbtc.win. And Artura Finance, we talked about these guys. They're going to be launching on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2 mainnet very soon. And Hemi is backed by Binance Labs. So the strong backing there, you're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles like Dog Go to the Moon, you know, $1 billion cat, stuff like that, Liquidium, probably. And then eventually, well, during the launch, you're going to be able to trade tokens that are popular outside of the ecosystem, XRP, Tau, Ethereum. Exciting stuff, guys. And we're going to be working with them to pump out some of that educational stuff because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, all types of education with trading helps, right? So you can learn all about Artura at artura.finance. And then the wizard devs of Bitcoin, Fluid Tokens, the first to offer retail staking vaults. They were the first to offer staking Dog on Bitcoin Layer 1 to earn more Dog, which is going to be unlocked, I think, the week of the Bitcoin conference. And they have multiple different rune staking vaults there. And if you're a founder of an ordinal collection or you etched a rune with a community and you want to get a staking vault set up, make sure you head over to their Discord and ask them how to get set up. They have a team waiting for you guys there to answer all your questions. Exciting stuff for these guys. They are also building and almost finished with the Aquarium bridge and DEX. That's going to be able to allow you to bridge Dog from directly from Bitcoin to Cardano and actually swap all that great stuff as well. And they will have their FLDT rune launch coming very, very soon as well, which is exciting because they already have the token on Cardano, but it's going to be a one-to-one bridge and you're going to be able to use Aquarium to bridge back and forth there. So go to fluidtokens.com to learn more about these guys. And Merlin Chain is your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a builder and you want your protocol to be a bit more flexible, quick, make sure you go build on Merlin Chain. They have great builder support there. And if you are a retail user and you want to help secure the chain with their proof of stake, you can actually use your Merlin Chain token, the Merl token, to earn 15% APR. They're going to be adding Bitcoin as well very soon. We'll get you guys the details as soon as we get them to see what you can earn to help secure the chain as well. And don't forget, you can actually trade for Dog Go to the Moon on Merlin Swap as they have a liquidity pool there. Go to merlinswap.org to trade Dog there. Learn all about Merlin Chain at merlinchain.io. And lastly, guys, don't forget about our integrated partners, Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker, which we're going to start doing the live stream again next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure that you guys all join. Anybody can play. You can, as long as you have a compatible wallet. So all Bitcoin wallets, and then I think MetaMask and Phantom are acceptable as well. You pick a clan, and then 45 minutes of just clan versus clan. Super exciting, fun stuff. And Ordinal Hive is the aggregator marketplace for ordinals on Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2. And soon, possibly some B2B stuff going on there. We'll update you guys as soon as we get that finalized information there. And if you want to use their trader tools, you can use their live mempool insights. So you can snag a node monk, a puppet, a frog that someone accidentally mispriced. Sucks for them, but great for you. Thank you guys for supporting us and checking out our partners.
Yeah, great job on that, man. I'm gonna get to a few comments here. We got a super chat, shout out, super chat for our guy right here, Cryptolution. He also has an amazing YouTube channel. Check him out. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for the $5. Really means a lot to us. He's a GM fan. Mr. Unfiltered says Trump treating us all like battered wife. He said he loved us and then commenced to whooping our ass every day. Yeah, that's the way. That's the way you see it, man. Myself says Wizard BRC20 still exists. Though, well, not really. I think they pretty much burned everything that they've sent over there for the bridge to the rune itself. So Danny Boy says, I like FunkyBit. I'm curious, Danny, do you like FunkyBit over Odin, or did you never really mess with Odin? Patty Pooh says Trump is releasing Monopoly like Web3 game. What? If he integrates Trump coin into it, it'll be rocket ship. That is insane. Could you imagine that? Trump releasing a metaverse type of Monopoly game? That'd be wild.
To teach kids or people how to manage money.
I need that.
Tariffs. Tariffs. I'll put tariffs on you. No, I'm just kidding.
And then Danny says everyone wants to know the source of that post. Yeah, he's talking about the 99 Bitcoins post. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll hopefully see something soon and be like, wow, those guys were right. That's what I'm hoping anyway. We'll see. But if you guys have a few extra minutes and wouldn't mind checking out our website here, it is OnChainRevolution.io. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really fulfill it and help them get started and caught up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have the best VPN in my opinion. I've used every VPN and I always seem to come back to Nord. I just love the fact that I can just jump around from place to place, and the fact that it's $3 a month here. I think I paid $36 for the year. Highly recommend Nord, and I think everyone should have a VPN. Like I said, there is free ones. Go get a free one, but do not be going to these websites, guys, especially in crypto, and giving away your IP. It's dangerous, it's stupid, and you don't have to do it. Get a VPN. Nobody can tell you what site you can and can't use. You have a right as an American, as an individual, to pretty much use anything you want on the internet. So definitely get a VPN for that. And guys, if you guys are going to Bitcoin at 2025 Las Vegas, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, but do not wait until May to get your tickets. Get them here in April. You guys only have a few weeks left. The supply and demand is going to really make the prices go up really, really high. Do not wait till May. If you're going to get them in May, I wouldn't even go. It's going to be just way too expensive. You could have got them way cheaper, but use our link if you're interested. And click our store tab as well. We got some of the best merch in all of crypto, not just ordinals. So definitely check out everything here. We got hats, school bags, hoodies, everything. So we got these Ordinal Revolution t-shirts. These are going down. We're going to drop them off real soon. But if you are rocking Ordinal Revolution t-shirt, you're going to consider an OG. If you were ever at an event, we're going to definitely have prizes for someone who walks up to us with a Ordinal Revolution t-shirt. But they're limited time. They're coming down. We're going to replace them with some on-chain merch like this hat here, which is fire. Definitely check out everything here at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.